Heartbreaking news has emerged about Richard Goodall, whose sorrow now hits even deeper than his powerful, deep notes. When Richard Goodall performed Don't Stop Believin' on television, people everywhere felt the force of his voice and spirit. Raised in a small Indiana town, Richard's journey began humbly, sweeping floors, even as his singing swept across the internet. Known for his booming voice, Richard's life, however, holds unexpected turns and heavy shadows. What could pull such a promising star back into despair's depths? The truth appears more devastating than anyone anticipated, and it's only the beginning of what will unfold to shock and move those who have followed his story. Richard's life began in Indiana, where he grew up in a close-knit community rich in emotional support, if not material wealth. From a young age, he felt drawn to music, discovering his talent singing alone in his room to tunes from his old stereo. These private moments became a way for him to nurture a distant dream, a dream that grew stronger with every song he sang in solitude. Little did Richard know, a shocking revelation was about to transform his life forever. High school opened new doors for Richard. He joined the school choir, a place where he could refine his voice, and later joined a gospel choir, singing for 8 years. But then, the unexpected happened. The coronavirus pandemic struck, and the choir could no longer gather. Yet, this wasn't the worst of his hardships. Richard had always dreamed of making a difference with his music, but the realities of adult life crept in. He needed a steady job, and with college being financially out of reach, he became a janitor at Chauncey Rose Middle School. Some may have seen this as giving up on his dreams, but to Richard, the job provided him with security, while still allowing him to dream. For over 2 decades, Richard tended to the school, ensuring everything was clean and welcoming. Even though his tasks were modest, he never lost his love for music. He would sing while he worked, his voice filling the school halls, touching the hearts of students and teachers alike. Those around him couldn't help but notice his talent. The students and staff were deeply moved by his singing, encouraging him to share his voice beyond the school's walls. Their support transformed his routine into something remarkable, and he became affectionately known as Mr. Richard to all who heard him. Richard's story doesn't end there. During school events, especially on Veterans Day, he would sing God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood, his heartfelt performances often moving listeners to tears and inspiring others to chase their dreams. His voice was more than just talent. It was a way of bringing people together. Inspired by his local fans' encouragement, Richard took a leap toward his dreams, his fame as a singing janitor spreading beyond his town and eventually leading him to the stage of America's Got Talent. On that stage, he showcased the strength that had turned every setback into a stepping stone. Though many might see Richard's job as a janitor as lowly or unimportant, he didn't feel that way. Richard believed that his role at Chauncey Rose Middle School offered a unique opportunity to positively influence the students. His work may have seemed simple, but to him, it was a chance to teach kids essential lessons, like respect and gratitude, values he deemed more significant than any academic subject. Richard often spoke of the importance of politeness, emphasizing that saying yes, sir, no, sir, please and thank you weren't just good manners but fundamental values he could instill, even as a janitor. This dedication showed how seriously he took his job and his commitment to helping his community. As Richard grew older, he faced challenges, yet he never let go of his passion for music. His determination led to a pivotal question. Could his love for singing eventually elevate him from the humble hallways of a middle school to a larger stage that might change his life forever? Richard had tried before to break into the music world, auditioning for America's Got Talent in 2009, and The Voice, but rejection followed both attempts. These setbacks shook his confidence, causing him to question his worth. Yet, his students continued to lift him up, encouraging him to try again. Finally, he decided to give America's Got Talent another shot. In 2024, Richard stood on the grand stage of America's Got Talent. This moment felt like both an ending and a beginning. As he faced the judges Simon Cowell, Sofia Vergara, Heidi Klum, and Howie Mandel, nerves washed over him. Yet he knew this was his moment. Simon noticed his nerves and urged him to shake them off, the audience cheering him on. Taking a deep breath, Richard launched into Don't Stop Believin'. At first, some doubted him, but as his voice filled the room, skepticism turned into admiration. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Simon nodded approvingly, Heidi clapped, and Howie beamed. The crowd erupted into applause, with many rising to their feet. Richard's years of quiet dedication and practice had finally been rewarded. When he finished, Simon praised him, saying America would love his heartfelt performance. Howie noted how Richard's singing felt authentic and full of love, leaving Richard on the brink of an even greater journey. Then, something miraculous happened. Heidi, moved by his performance, reached out and hit the golden buzzer, sending golden confetti raining down on Richard. Overcome with emotion, he wept tears of joy, feeling validated after years of dedication. This was the reward he had dreamed of. Yet the surprises didn't end there. Richard shared with the crowd that he had never flown before his journey to California for the show, making his success all the more meaningful. It was a reminder that following your passion can lead to unimaginable places. Filled with joy, Richard called his fiancée Angie, who was immensely proud of his accomplishment, though she couldn't celebrate with him in person due to financial constraints. This added a touch of bittersweetness to an otherwise triumphant moment. His unforgettable performance was soon posted on YouTube, where his students expressed admiration and support. One student wrote that Richard's voice made her school days brighter, calling him a hero. Another student praised his humility, feeling honored to have known him. The world was clear on one thing: Richard had won more than the golden buzzer. His performance wasn't just about music, it was a testament to hope, persistence, and the power of dreams. Afterward, Richard went backstage, overwhelmed with emotion, and told the producers, "I'm just a regular guy, the one who cleans the tables, takes out the trash, and sweeps the floors." Yet he had always sung for the students. Even as he looked back on his youth, he remembered singing with all his heart, his love for music unwavering. Although Richard's role as a janitor was modest, America's Got Talent stepped up, covering all his competition expenses. A community member, Chris Bond, then started a GoFundMe campaign, rallying the community to support their local hero. Let's give Terre Haute, Indiana's a golden buzzer winner, our support. The goal was to help Richard focus fully on his performances without worrying about money, and hopefully bring his family and friends along to support him. The community's response was incredible. The fundraising campaign was launched on May 30th, 2024. And by July 19th, the goal was not only met but exceeded, raising an impressive $119,000. This outpouring of support showed just how deeply Richard had touched people's hearts with his story and talent. It was their way of saying thank you to him for inspiring them and helping him continue his journey on the show. But this wasn't all. This collective effort meant Richard had everything he needed to move forward in the competition, backed not only by America's Got Talent, but also by a community that now saw him as a symbol of hope and strength. The support was more than just money. It was a powerful show of unity and belief in the great potential found in even the most unexpected places. Richard's journey had become more than a personal dream. It was now a shared experience for many who saw a bit of themselves in his story. People believed that if Richard, a janitor from a small town, could achieve something so big, then maybe they could too. And this belief kept growing stronger with each step he took on his path, supported by a world that had come to cheer for him, not just because of his voice, but because of the heart behind it. As opportunities came his way, Richard stayed true to his roots, facing a big question about what comes next. From janitor to sensation, despite all the praise and new fame, Richard Goodall, the humble janitor from Terre Haute, Indiana, stayed down to earth. When people asked him if all this attention might make him proud or vain, he just laughed and said he had never been one for fancy things. His performance video on YouTube had already reached over 19 million views, making it the most watched clip of the season on America's Got Talent. The world was amazed by Richard's singing, but they had only seen a small part of his story and the struggles he faced to get there. Richard's journey to this point was one of persistence, strength, and a steady commitment to his dreams. While many people his age might have been content with a quiet life, Richard was determined to keep chasing his musical dreams. He had always wanted to share his voice with more people, and America's Got Talent finally gave him the chance to make that dream come true. But this wasn't his first try. Back in 2009, Richard had auditioned for America's Got Talent, filled with hope and excitement. He was ready to show the world his musical talent, but things didn't go as planned. He was cut after the first audition in Chicago. This rejection left him feeling sad and defeated, but it also made him more determined. Instead of giving up, he decided to try again, sending a video of himself singing "Don't Stop Believin'" to The Voice. But this wasn't the worst part. The response he received was another disappointment. The email from The Voice thanked him for his interest, but said he wouldn't be moving forward. This news hit him hard, especially since he was used to hearing praise for his singing. He began to doubt himself, and even felt like giving up. He took to social media to express his frustration, saying he deserved a chance, and that it seemed unfair how the entertainment industry often favored younger singers. His post quickly gathered support from his fans, who agreed with him and criticized The Voice for their choices. Still, Richard held on to hope. The students he saw every day at school kept cheering him on, reminding him of his talent. Their belief in him helped him find the strength to try again, and eventually, he decided to return to America's Got Talent. But what sparked this renewed interest in his talent? The answer came in a surprising moment in 2022. At a talent show for fifth graders at Davis Park Elementary School, Richard was asked to perform a closing song. He chose "Don't Stop Believin'" instead of his usual "God Bless the USA" to inspire the kids to follow their dreams. In jeans, a ball cap, and his janitor's keys jangling at his side, Richard sang with all his heart, and the room lit up. The kids, who hadn't expected much, started dancing and cheering, joined by the adults in the audience. But this wasn't all. Unbeknownst to Richard, a staff member named Mariah Dane recorded his performance and posted it on TikTok. The video showed not just his amazing singing, but also his ability to touch and inspire others with music. The very next day, Mariah told Richard that the video had already gotten over 100,000 views. Within a week, it had reached more than 1 million, surprising everyone who watched, and revealing the incredible voice of a janitor who loved to sing. This unexpected success online was the break Richard needed. Suddenly, people everywhere were noticing his talent, including some big names in the music world. Even Steve Perry, the former lead singer of Journey, saw the video and was moved by Richard's heartfelt version of the song he made famous. But that wasn't the end. Richard's hometown of Terre Haute came together to celebrate his success. Local businesses and community leaders organized a special send-off party. At the event, he was showered with gifts, including a lifetime supply of dressing from Mullen's restaurant. But the most surprising moment was when country singer Walker Hayes, touched by Richard's humble spirit and talent, gave him a brand new car. For years, Richard Goodall's singing voice filled the empty hallways of the school where he worked as a janitor. His deep, warm voice carried his feelings and life stories to the few students who happened to hear him while he cleaned. Music was his way to express himself and find comfort in the routine of his daily work. Though he had an incredible talent, Richard never thought of becoming a professional singer. It seemed like a distant dream, something he believed had already passed him by. But everything changed when his co-workers encouraged him to audition for America's Got Talent. At first, Richard wasn't sure. However, with their kind words and support, he finally decided to give it a shot. He chose to sing Elton John's "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," a song that held a lot of personal meaning for him. As he sang, the audience was spellbound by the emotion in his voice, feeling every note along with him. The moment he finished, the room exploded with applause. Even Simon Cowell, the usually tough judge, seemed genuinely moved. "Richard, where have you been hiding all these years?" Simon asked, sounding both amazed and curious. The other judges shared Simon's admiration, praising Richard's performance and unanimously sending him to the next round. But this wasn't the only surprise. Richard's audition clip went viral, turning him from a humble janitor into a national sensation almost overnight. Social media buzzed with clips of his performance, and news stories quickly spread about the quiet janitor with the voice of an angel. Suddenly, Richard found himself facing new opportunities he had never imagined. In the days after his TV appearance, Richard was flooded with offers. One of the first came from a local recording studio that wanted to help him make an album. "We want to share your gift with the world," the producer told him. Feeling both nervous and excited, Richard stepped into a professional studio for the very first time, ready to take on this unexpected new chapter of his life. But that wasn't the best part. Soon after, Richard was invited to perform at different places, from charity events to music festivals. A talent agent from Los Angeles reached out, convinced that Richard's voice could touch millions. Inspired by this belief in his potential, Richard agreed to work with the agent, opening the door to a real music career. With the support of his family and friends, Richard fully embraced his new path. He released his first album, a mix of soulful songs and classic hits, which received great reviews. As his music career took off, he traveled around the country, performing with well-known artists and winning over new fans everywhere he went. Despite his quick rise to fame, Richard never forgot his roots. He often returned to Terre Haute, visiting the school where he had worked for so many years. "I'll never forget where I came from," Richard said in an interview. "This school, these students, they're a part of who I am." But his story doesn't end here. Richard's journey is more than just about becoming famous. It's about holding on to dreams and how life can surprise us with new chances. From singing alone in school halls to performing for thousands, Richard Goodall's story is a reminder that the most amazing talents can be found in the most unexpected places, just waiting for their moment to shine. Thanks for watching. Do talent shows unfairly favor sensational stories over true talent? Share your thoughts, comment, and subscribe for more content.